This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome already to our Friday morning. I think I was just saying we're going to work a 5-day week, Mark, and here we are already at Friday. Friday, July the 10th, 2026, live from Wellspan Park, right here on Brooks Robinson Plaza. It is the Gary Sutton Show, the main street of York and York County, the voice of York and York County. And we are so proud and glad to be coming your way today. It certainly beats the alternative. You know, you get up this morning and just feel really good. Say those gummies are working. I'm sleeping longer every night. They are. Yeah.
And you keep tweaking them?
No. I'm just taking the one that lets you sleep long. But here's the problem. I'm coming up about a half an hour short of a perfect night. You know, it's like getting 8 of 9 innings out of your pitcher. You know, you don't get 9. It's not a complete game. But I tell you what, it's getting close. It's getting close. But you can tell my jauntiness and my excitement here on a Friday morning. Plus, I had my best round of golf yesterday in a long time. And
you got some extra sleep.
Yeah, my hands hurt, but you know, it didn't matter. We had this fun round yesterday. Great match. If we'd have lost, it would have been a great match, but we won, which doesn't always happen. But I shot a 68 yesterday, 4 under par.
Wow.
A 68. The only bogey I had was a 3-putt because I got greedy on one hole. Which again is another life lesson. Don't get greedy. Be patient. Let it come. All good things will come to you if you wait. Should I go into any further philosophy? Anyway, I'm feeling good this morning. Friday morning, we like to look back on the week. All brought to you by Anstein and Sparler, attorneys of law and kindness worldwide.org. Our text line is open at 833-478-4729. Brought to you by the Back Nine. The Back Nine, where golf never sleeps. You can check them out at theback9golf.com/York-PA. And our question of the day today, we're back at it again with Iran. Apparently, we had 90 targets we hit yesterday. They started lobbing missiles out on their neighbors. And here we are back again. And the question this morning at Gary Sutton Show on Facebook or on Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn, whichever you prefer to use. The question's this. Can we ever really have peace with Iran? Can we ever really get a truce with Iran? That's kind of the question this morning. You can see my video question there and check it out. So it's all up there for you this morning here on the Gary Sutton Show, where it is National French Fry Day. What is more American than French fries? Even though they're called French fries, I think they're quite American. National Pina Colada Day to go with your French fries. 56 days until Labor Day weekend when it'll all be open for the summer. So you got 56 more days of fun and frolic in the sun and all of that today here on the Gary Sutton Show. As we welcome in this morning, Mr. Mark McKenzie. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not on gummies.
No, I am. I notice I'm liking the Fritos a lot more lately too. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Well, there's nothing in the gummies that's illegal or anything like that. It's just they're good.
Yes, I mean, it knocks you out,
and they work. And I'm waking up now with less of a vapor trail than I had. Like yesterday, I woke up and I thought, ooh, what hit me? Today, feeling pretty good.
But then you played golf really well.
Well, here's the problem. I went home yesterday. I didn't feel very well. I took a 2-hour nap. I got up and I went and played golf, and we got stopped by the rain for 45 minutes in the middle of it. But we managed to, finish it up then. And I felt great when I got out that nap. I normally never lie down. I usually go in my chair and lean back. But I laid down yesterday. Tuxie, one of our cats, came up, took a nap with me, and Scamp started. But yeah, we were all the guys. We were all kind of sacked out. Yeah, and I woke up and I said, "Oh, I feel a lot better." When I left here yesterday, I didn't feel that good. and a little bit of a nap, and I was rejuvenated. I was ready to go.
That's when I go to the gym after my nap.
Well, I'm going there today after the show, and then I've got to go get my back corrected, and then I'm driving back up to the Juniata again up in Mount Union, which is one of my favorite places. My wife and I are going up there for the weekend. So just the excitement, it's nonstop. I mean, you ought to put a break on it somewhere, but that's the way it is here this morning.
All right. Well, let's talk about.
So anything less than that would pale now. So you have to keep that level. You have a
good luck
responsibility. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mark McKenzie, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for the
not a problem.
raising the bar.
Glad to help.
It is.
You want to slap me, don't you?
So many, as usual. So many things going on here, and I don't really know kind of where to start. So let's just start.
Wherever you start will be the starting point.
Collector Car Appreciation Day.
Oh, okay.
Do you like old cars?
I don't. It's not my thing, but I have a great appreciation for people who pay attention to that and spend time and a lot of money. That people like to fix those up, and everybody's got a hobby, and I tell you what, I love to see them.
Yes,
I don't know enough about cars that I'd ever be able to do very much with them, but I do like to see them. Yeah,
me too.
When they have the rods coming here to York and stuff like that, I love to see those kind of things.
It's Don't Step on a Bee Day, but here's the thing.
Yeah,
when I'm mowing the lawn, I often see, I'm watching where I'm going,
right,
and I often see a bee, touching down on a piece of clover or another flower.
Sure.
But I'm rolling. I'm not stopping for the bee.
Yeah.
And I often wonder, it can't be that
little play on words there.
They're
be
dead after I roll over. I don't believe that. I believe they get out somehow.
What is the matter with you?
You think they're
dead?
They're dead. You think so?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Maybe one or two will get out now and then. I don't know, but I'm just saying.
But don't step on a bee today.
Also, don't step on a rattlesnake. Don't step on a nail.
It's not quite
it's common sense.
International Nikola Tesla Day.
Yeah,
and he's a very important inventor. A lot of the electrical things that we have is because of him.
I wonder if there's anything named after him.
Yes. Yeah. National Kitten Day.
Oh,
tell your cats.
We at our house, if my wife sees a kitten, it's like it could come home. Ha! And I always say no before she even asks the question. I say, no,
really, it's coming.
I do, and she'll say, well, no, it'll find a home.
National Motorcycle Day. You ever driven a motorcycle?
I've been on one. I may have driven one a couple of feet, but I've never really. I'm not geared to motors. Mm-hmm. I'm more of give me a vehicle that gets you from here to the golf course and back. I'm pretty happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did drive one once.
Did you like it?
It was okay.
Well, I mean, we live in motorcycle capital, one of the motorcycle capitals of the country here with Harley Davidson.
I do feel exposed when you're on a motorcycle.
Well, I'm one of those, and my thought has always been that if you ride a motorcycle long enough, you're probably going to have a crash. I'm just saying.
Worldwide Art Day. I know you're a big appreciator of art.
Some. I like some art, but I am, I'm kind of picky on that. But I do like certain kinds of art. I'm more of paint something.
Velvet Elvis?
No, none of that stuff.
Oh.
No, stop. I like when you paint something that I have been in or know of, a church that I've been in or a building I've been in, like a Williamsburg type building. I like those kind of paintings. I'm kind of a historical kind of painting guy. I'm not much abstract.
Moving on, food. You did mention Pina Colada Day.
Yes, it is Pina Colada Day.
Well, I like Pina Colada. I rarely order one, but
if you like Pina Coladas, we're getting caught in the rain.
Oh, yes.
You're not into health food, but you're into champagne.
People love story songs. They just love them.
And was that Rupert Holmes, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. World Kebab Day.
Ooh. Every day could be a World Kebab Day. I love kebabs.
I don't. It's too big. Too big, pieces. Big piece of meat with a big piece of onion with a big piece of pepper.
Big piece of a tomato on there.
Yeah, I like them all chopped up.
Well, but you got to do a little work then.
Exactly.
All you have to do is just. I had some the other night, and I enjoyed cutting them up the little pieces, and you don't eat that much, but you get a lot of good protein and vegetables, and it's very healthy.
It seems like a lazy way to cook.
It's not a lazy way to cook.
You don't chop them all the way. You don't chop them up all the way. You just chop them sort of a little bit.
Well, but you
And
don't
then you
get the
stick 'em on a
huge hunk
stick.
of meat. We're not cavemen anymore. You get these small, petite.
Actually, it's very much cave-like. You stick them on a
you
stick
get
and
the
then you...
small, petite things you get to cut up now and enjoy. You don't have to stuff yourself to death.
My favorite food holiday
Go
today,
ahead.
though,
Go ahead.
is this one. It's Pick Blueberries Day. And I will tell you that
Are you a blueberry picker?
I have picked many blueberries in my day. We used to have two batches, two sections in my grandmother's
Really?
family. They had a farm back behind all their homes. And one of the brothers farmed it. Everybody else lived in front of it along the road. And what I mean by is everybody. I'm talking 3 sisters and 2 brothers. Anyway, behind it, they got like a little section of the farm for themselves.
Okay.
And they put these couple of rows, I would say at least 20 maybe, blueberry bushes. And we would have to go and help out Aunt Ida pick her blueberries and Aunt Lucy pick up her blueberries. And
You really had an Aunt Ida?
I did. Yes, and they're all and they all lived next to each other for.
Ida is like one of those names that, like, you're 65 when you're born. You know,
Yes.
it's just old. It's an old name.
timey.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But the blueberries.
Not that I'm desecrating your
Not
aunt or
not at
anything.
all.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
I mean, we used to talk about.
Sure,
it.
okay.
In
In front of her back.
No, I mean she understood.
Well, yeah, she.
I mean, how many Idas did she know? She
I
didn't
mean,
know
they don't
hardly
know a
any.
lot of Idas. No.
Right. So she was the only Ida many of us knew.
That's right.
So the
The
blueberries.
only one I've ever heard about.
Blueberries, they have to be like little bubbles, a little pop of fresh, citrusy sort of taste.
It's Mackenzie and time.
Oh
ladies and
my
gentlemen.
gosh, my mother would make blueberry pie, blueberry bread. She would make blueberry muffins. Oh my
Did
Lord.
you ever get sick of the blueberries after a while?
Never.
No?
Never. The only thing that makes me sick of a blueberry
Go ahead.
is that it's not like that poppy kind of where they're limp. You know, they're not. They're soft.
What is a limp blueberry called?
It's a soft. I don't know.
It's called a limp blueberry.
It's soft
Yeah.
and it's not good.
Rotten is what it's called. Isn't it?
I don't. Yeah, it could. I don't know if it's rotten, but it's just definitely
not it.
It's not good.
No. My wife goes to Blueberry Hill right here in the local area. She loves
you
to
go.
go pick blueberries there.
It's a nice. It's easy because they're up off the ground.
You know what I like about that, though? Blueberry Hill. I mean, there's not another purpose for that hill.
No.
Blueberry Hill. That's it.
Well,
I asked her, I said, is there anything else there? She goes, oh, they actually have raspberries there. I said, wait a second. Why do they call it Blueberry Hill? Why it's Blueberry and Raspberry Hill to let you
That's
know,
true.
Truth in advertising.
yeah, raspberries also are
I'm
up
just
off
saying.
the ground.
Right.
Strawberries, you got to get down on your knees. You got to bend over.
Yeah, it's just
strawberries are
not it.
tough, but
Not
the
it.
blueberries, raspberries, they're easy.
Thank you.
Let's get on with other things, and not a lot of things have happened on January 10th. So here are some things that have happened in the past, and we're going to try to run through these.
January 10th or July 10th?
Oh, I'm sorry, July 10th.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. On this date, in 988, the city of Dublin is founded.
Dublin.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been there. What a great city that is. Oh, yeah.
On
The
this-
Guinness factory.
On this date at 1040.
Jameson also.
1040. So we're talking over almost 1,000 years ago.
Okay. All right.
Lady Godiva rides naked on horseback through Coventry. Now,
Why did she do it?
I was going to ask you, do you remember why she
I
did it?
don't.
And I did not remember this either. But according to legend, it was to
She lose a bet?
No, to persuade her husband, the Earl of Mercia, Mercia, to lower taxes.
So she figured if she rode naked through town, that would help?
Exactly, that's ridiculous. And there's no word as to whether it actually worked.
Was she a good look? I mean, did anybody
According
say,
to the
put some
paintings-
clothes on or anything?
According to the paintings, there were no complaints.
Well, and apparently when she was eating the chocolate bar, she was doing it, I understand. Is that right?
Nah,
Oh, wrong. Yeah, I
wrong
guess
news.
that came later. Yeah.
On this date, 1850, Millard Fillmore is sworn in as president.
It's one of those presidents you don't remember very much about.
Well, what happened to Taylor?
Yeah, I know. Taylor died eventually. But,
Did he?
Yeah,
So he
well,
died
they all
in
died. They all died eventually.
In office?
No. Zachary Taylor, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a. I forget how he died, But
anyway,
Millard Fillmore.
Yeah, he took over.
It's another old-sounding name, is Millard.
Yes,
Who would name their kid Millard?
75 years later, on this date, 1925, the Scopes monkey trial began in Dayton, Tennessee. John Scopes eventually found guilty of teaching evolution in a public school.
Clarence Darrow going up against William Jennings Bryan.
Yeah, Inherit the Wind is a famous
Spencer Tracy playing the part of Clarence Darrow. Yeah.
And do you remember who played William Jennings Bryan? It's Frederick March.
Frederick March was very good.
And Scopes was fined $100.
William Jennings Bryan died not long after that trial was over, by the way.
He's an old guy then.
He ran for president a bunch of times.
So you might, it's Nikola Tesla Day.
Right.
So he was not a billionaire. Matter of fact, died practically penniless in New York City. But there was a time when we had billionaires or very, very rich people, and they did amazing things. On this date in 1938, Howard Hughes flew around the world in 91 hours.
Wow. Not in the Spruce Goose, though.
No. On this date, 1962, an important date in telecommunications history, Telstar, the first active communications satellite, especially for TV transmissions and telephones. AT&T launched it into...
Remember that.
Me too. 1981 on this date, we jump ahead many years. Escape from New York, directed by John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell, Donald Pleasance.
Snake Plissken.
And he basically was doing another guy who was doing a poor man's, Clint Eastwood.
And he had the patch over his eye. He was trying to look like really badass.
And it was supposed to be the future.
Yeah.
This is what the future's going to look like.
No.
On this date, 1985, just a couple more, Coca-Cola announced it's going to resume selling the old Formula Coke.
Yeah, after they got pilloried for trying to put that new stuff in there.
Yeah,
you don't mess with something that works.
I would never turn down a Coke, but I like Pepsi.
Yes.
On this date, 1991, Boris Yeltsin sworn in as the first elected president of the Russian Federation, and of course that didn't last.
Boris would take a nip now and then.
More than that.
More than that, yeah.
And finally, on this date, 2019, earliest evidence of modern humans outside of Africa. They always talk about the Rift Valley.
Yeah.
And that's where mankind kind of came out of. Well, what happened after that? And they found a 210,000-year-old skull in a cave in southern Greece. And that is the earliest evidence of humans outside of Africa. So we know that they were moving around.
Now, when we come back, I'm going to ask you this question. Do robo-taxis pay attention? If you have a taxi that's driven by a robot, does it pay attention? You're going to find out about, yes, it does, when we return right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
3-1 and a swing, a well-hit ball to deep right center. This is a no-doubt home run off the middle of the video board in right center. And Shed Long Jr. with his second in a Revs uniform adds to the lead. It's 3-1 here in the fourth. Pitch. He swings, drives one deep to left field. Watch this one fly. Way out of here. Over the bullpens in left and out into the parking lot. And Drew Ramirez with a Titanic home run to left. The Revs get that run right back. It's 4-2. 1-0. Swing and a well-hit ball in right. Rock going back on it. He looks up. It is gone. Tomo Onosaka, a 3-run home run. Out to right center field, and the Revs have blown this game open. They lead it now 7-2 here in the sixth. As Dunn swings, hammers one, right field, Rock back, look it up, it's gone! Same spot as Tomo's ball. And Nick Dunn clobbers his 14th of the year. Revs have gone back-to-back against two different pitchers. Stitch is greeted by Nick Dunn, who makes it 8-2 here in the sixth. As runner goes and Ross swings, and he hits one in the air in left center. This is hit pretty well. Back nearing the fence, Zane Washington leaps, and he can't get it. Out of here, Jackson Ross with a 2-run homer. And the Revs with their fourth home run of the inning lead it 10-2 here in the sixth. 0-1 on Ray, who's 1 for 4 tonight. And he swings, drives one out to center. It sends Zane Washington back. He stops, he looks, and it goes! Home run, Brian Ray to the right of the batter's eye. And he gets into this power display tonight, his 13th. And the Revs with their 6th home run of the night now lead it 12-2 here in the 7th.
And the final score, 12-4, as the Revs took out their frustration of the previous two nights last night and laid it on Lexington for their first loss in the second half. And the Revs now in a three-way tie for first with Hagerstown and Long Island at 4-2. And so the Revs doing it all last night. By the way, Braden Scott, who had been kind of the last guy really in charge of the Revs starters, he just got purchased by the Atlanta Braves, had his contract purchased, which is one of the things that you go into this league for, is to have a chance to get back in the minor leagues and maybe even the majors in the long run. And Braden Scott, congratulations to him. But, you know, from a selfish standpoint, he had been pitching great baseball. And he'll be heading off now to the Atlanta Braves organization. So the Revs continue to feed major league organizations, but one of the great things that Rick Forney does, and I've said this several times, he will go find other people to fill the breach. And I've often said, kind of like the NFL, you're as good as your second team in the NFL. Well, you're as good as the guys you can find after these guys go into the various major league organizations. And that's what Rick Forney is a master of doing. So we'll see. But the Revs in there, like the other clubs, you know, fighting it out right now to have the very best team they can have while losing guys up to other organizations. By the way, I don't know if you've ever ridden in a robo-taxi. I'm not about to want to do that. You see more of it out in the western part of our country. But
big cities usually.
Here's a cautionary tale. If you think the robo-taxi is not paying attention to what you are doing while you're in the taxi, especially if it's something illicit or illegal.
They're watching me?
Or immoral or anything else. Police in San Mateo, California, say two teams were riding in a Waymo self-driving vehicle earlier this week while drinking alcohol and firing water beads from a toy gun at people outside the car. Yeah. Now, they're not killing people, but, you know, it's annoying.
Well, but they probably couldn't have gotten a real human taxi, for example.
No, and be doing that.
And they obviously thought they would have been caught, so maybe they think, you know what, there's no human in this.
The robot doesn't know what I'm doing. But the Waymo's onboard cameras detected the behavior, and the vehicle pulled into a shopping center parking lot while notifying the company's support team.
There you go.
Soon after, police were called to the scene and officers surrounded the vehicle and detained both teens.
Wow.
Waymo says its vehicles have interior cameras, and in urgent situations, employees can access live video during a ride, which means it might drive you straight to the cops. And that's what happened. That's from Mercury News, so I know it's
There you
100%
go.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Interesting.
Can you imagine if something else would be happening in the vehicle and the vehicle didn't like it?
All kinds of
All kinds of possibilities there.
Yes.
Use your imagination. So there you go.
I'm sorry, I was using my imagination.
No, okay, whatever. And speaking of California, L.A. is getting the country's first luxury gas station, and people are calling it woke Buc-ee's. Yeah, filling up your tank could get pretty fancy next year in Beverly Hills. A new concept called Maggie's Refuel is set to open at the rich L.A. neighborhood there in Hollywood, or Beverly Hills, rather. And it's an upscale twist on a traditional gas station. It's created by Alex Cantor, who is a fourth-generation owner of Cantor's Deli in L.A. Maggie's will serve fresh pastries from local bakeries, premium soft-serve ice cream, specialty coffee, and convenience store favorites like Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Oh.
Okay? The station will also include EV charging and what Alex calls a more curated shopping experience. The idea was inspired by Japan's convenience stores and Italy's highway rest stops, but online reactions have been mixed. Some people have already nicknamed it woke Buc-ee's for the New York Post. We'll take a break. We'll come back. What about this whole Plattner guy thing going on up in Maine, and how did the press cover that this week? Well, Ted Check, our recovering reporter, takes a look at that when he joins us at 6:35 here on the Gary Sutton Show. It is 6:30. into Neil.
1975. We're going back in time a little bit.
Also known as Daryl Dragon.
Fun Friday. That was the when Jaws was out. This was a big hit.
You thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Yes. You turn on the radio. This is what you heard.
Did Daryl Dragon ever talk? Did he ever say a word?
You know, he wasn't as bad as that guy with Penn and Teller. Which
I
one
know.
is it?
Who's never said anything.
Is it Teller? Or is
Yeah.
Is he
Teller.
ironically
That's
named?
Teller. Yes.
Teller?
Yeah, which I know. He's, that he didn't
doesn't
tell
do that.
anybody
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got it. Welcome back, Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. Refreshing music after that 1996 debacle.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough patch.
I'm going to take it out.
But you know what? I mean, I like the fact that we forged through it. We got through that 1996 period, and we forged through it.
Yeah.
Never to be done again.
True.
I might add. And, so welcome back. And time to check in with Ted Check. Ted, of course, is our information officer here in York County, but also he is the author of Saving the Beast, a recovery report reflects on America's broken media and how to fix it. And he joins us here, and he's been 25 years in the newspaper business. Joins us here on a Friday morning on the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning, Ted. How are you?
Good morning, Gary. I'm doing great. Long time no talk.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk last week. The week before, I wasn't here. So it is nice to talk to you again. I was saying to Mark this morning, do we have what's his name on this morning, 6:35? And no. It's always good to talk to you.
What's his name? So that's
No. We were kidding. We were kidding. Maine Democrats are looking to replace this guy, Graham Plattner, now, who's going to drop out, I guess, officially as of Monday. But it has been interesting to watch how the press has kind of treated this guy and treated his kind of little journey here from being a senatorial candidate to now being a persona non grata. Your thoughts on him?
Yeah, it has been very interesting. And so, right, for those who may not have been, following this whole thing, so this guy emerged and he said from the jump, hey, he wants to put Susan Collins out of business.
Right.
She's the Republican who's, she's a senator in Maine, very, very moderate. A lot of times she votes against Trump
Right.
on things, but I guess that's how she keeps her job in Maine. But anyway, so the first thing it seemed that came out was he had a Nazi tattoo on his chest.
Right.
And then he covered it up
Right.
At some point, and the media was like, whatever, it's no big deal.
Right.
This is a lot of the mainstream media. Then there was a sexual assault allegation.
Right.
And that was treated the same way. And actually, a lot of the mainstream media went after his accuser, saying, well, she's a conservative. So this is just opposition, information right here.
Yeah.
This isn't a real credible allegation. Sunny Hostin, who is one of the hosts on The View, said she would hold her nose and vote for him anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on. And then there was a second sexual assault allegation by a different woman, and that seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back.
Have a little more veracity than the rest of them. Yeah. Okay.
Right, and so that seemed to be, and everybody's got a level, it seems, and so that reached a level of if you a threshold, if you will, and so now everybody's like, well, we didn't know, and when I say everybody, I mean the mainstream media. Well, we were sold a false bill of goods, and we were sold a character arc, so now everybody's bailing on the guy.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch, how they go from, and it was almost like, and then Bernie Sanders was full-throated endorsement of him, and Bernie stayed with him. But, one of the things that was interesting about this is, now here you have this, in the same week you have E. Jean Carroll, the president's got to pay, $5 million to her because apparently he raped her in a dressing room at a store. and the court has ruled you got to pay that. So you've got that juxtaposed to this story across there, and you say, oh, now how do you handle those? I mean, here's one guy we're saying, okay, he's going to step out of the race. Now, he said, I didn't do it. I'm not stepping out of the race because of that. I'm stepping out of the race because established Democrats don't want me in, is what he's saying. And yet on the other side, you've got the whole Trump thing. As you look at the news on this, how do we handle these with our people that want to represent us, one of whom has represented us as President of the United States, one of whom wanted to represent us as Senator? How do you view that? Or as a news person, do you even try to view it? Do you just say, here's what happened, here's what we've got, that's it?
Oh, you definitely want to handle it, objectively.
Yeah.
And simply report the news.
Which is the whole purpose of your book, by the way, but yeah.
Yes, but a lot of these mainstream media outlets have commentators who express their opinions, and I think that's where it really came out was that they were supporting this guy, these talking heads on these news outlets, on various programs were still supporting Plattner. But kind of to your point, we're so polarized here in this country with our politics that's where we saw all this support for the guy. I think it's because he's a Democrat and they wanted him to get in no matter what.
Well, isn't the larger story here? And I think you hit on a good one this morning. It's a good topic. The larger story here is how far are we willing to go to bastardize our true beliefs to support a candidate, be it in the press or just as people? How far is it that we are willing to go to say, well, it wasn't that bad. He wasn't as bad as the other guy or whatever. I mean, it seems to me that, and it's kind of bled over into the press. I mean, the press understands how we think. And they're saying, well, okay, the people that read my paper or the people that watch my report, they're on this side generally, and they're going to be willing to go to the nth degree, which they kind of did with Plattner here. And yet on the other side, you got people who are willing to go to the nth degree to kind of guard Trump and say, well, I'm not sure he really did that. He's paying $5 million in. So to me, that's the larger story of where we go as consumers of that information. And how far we're willing to go before we say, wait a second, what's right and wrong here? What's the truth? What's not the truth here? I think that's. Am I wrong on that, Ted? Your thoughts?
No, I think you're right, and that it kind of goes back to what I was saying about we're so polarized as a nation. We're so split that there's a lot that we'll just accept of candidates, and we're not bringing the best. We're not getting behind the best.
No.
And we need that somehow. That needs to happen. Is that the best need to percolate to the top, and we need to get them into office. But that's a whole additional topic.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, like I was saying before, there seems to be a threshold. Like with the mainstream media. Okay, Nazi tattoo, one strike.
Right.
First sexual assault allegation, let's overlook that because she's a conservative. And then strike number 3, this additional sexual assault allegation from a woman who said that she agrees with his policy, but that she felt she had to come forward. That's strike number 3, and that apparently was the threshold. That was too much for the mainstream media to get behind, and now they're playing this whole game of, well, we were, like I said before, we were sold a character arc about this guy. But I saw a very interesting interview with a couple of, I believe these were Democrats, in the Democratic machine, who helped nominate Plattner, and I guess they hired a company to vet the guy. And one of the people said that they were aware of some of what you've seen in the news. So they knew some of what you've seen. And it wasn't even the tattoo. That wasn't even part of it.
Sure.
It was other things. And they were just like, you know what? None of this is going to stick. None of this should stop him from getting the seat.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And probably soon to be unemployed people, from at least for the Democrats, because if you hire those people to do the vetting, and that's what they come up with, that's the best they could come up with. You say, wait a second, what happened here? How did we screw up? So that'll be quietly going on behind the scenes. That would happen in any party where you just get a bad candidate who just has too much baggage, and eventually it becomes too much to run and be taken seriously. And, this guy obviously hit that threshold, as you mentioned, and I think that's going to be the interesting part of all this that comes down. But to me, in the long run, one of the things that has to happen here down the line is we got to get back to what's true and what's not. And we're just, and I know that's where you've been going with the book, Saving the Beast, but it just, we're not there. I mean, the idea that it's not a matter of if it's true or not true, it's a matter of will it sell or not sell. That's really what it's about, because it's like a good product. You have someone who is a famous person who represents a product, and all of a sudden that person screws up, people aren't buying the product. Guess what? The company drops them like a hot potato. Same thing here. You're representing. The media says we'll go with you as far as we can go until people start to jettison on you, and then we're getting out of here. That's kind of where it's at, right?
Yeah, and that brings to mind another story. There was a guy, I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Dustin Poirier.
No.
He's a former UFC fighter.
Okay.
And he's even though he's retired, he's still sponsored by Bud Light. And just recently, he had a very controversial video. He was in an airport, and he was apparently inebriated. And he got arrested.
See, drunk.
And so now Bud Light is considering, apparently, allegedly, they're considering, well, maybe we should drop him.
And you say why would there be why would there be a maybe? And the maybe is we're going to see how sales go. That's what the maybe is all about. We're going to see how the sales go. Then we'll decide if we're going to drop them, because again, it's what will people tolerate? How far will they go with you?
Right.
And then
the story has legs. If it really gets out there, or if it dies quickly,
Or do you get a follow-up story like you did on Plattner, which eventually becomes the weight that sinks you underneath all the stuff that's going on about you? So, it's interesting stuff this morning, Ted. Yeah, I really appreciate the conversation, and it's a really good topic this morning because it has a lot of tentacles to it. Hey, have a great week, my friend. We look forward to next Friday with you, as always, and keep up the good work, okay?
Thanks, Gary. You too.
Thanks, Ted. Saving the Beast. Check out the book, by the way. Really a good read. A recovery reporter reflects on America's broken media and how to fix it. Ted Czech, Czech, the author, Saving the Beast. Check it out today and read it. It's a good one. It's a good one. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more. I think we've got some birthdays, if I'm not mistaken, around the corner with Mark and much more here on the Gary Sutton Show. It's a Friday morning right here on WOYK.
of New Orleans, Illinois Central, Monday morning rail. 15 cars and 15 restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks of mail.
There you go.
You remember him?
Story about a train.
All along the
Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't know if I remember the name. I remember the song.
It was a big hit.
Yeah.
But that's Arlo Guthrie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Arlo Guthrie, and he is 79 today.
I remember seeing him at Woodstock, in the Woodstock film. He was there, Arlo Guthrie.
Other birthdays today, not a lot.
City of New Orleans, by the way, was the name of a train. It was
Yes.
the name of, I believe, a locomotive.
Neil Tennant, who is a singer with the Pet Shop Boys. If you heard their songs, you'd
Sure,
remember.
sure.
He's 72. Chiwetel Ejiofor is 49. You might remember him from 12 Years a Slave. This guy, Adrian Griner, he was in Entourage. He was the boyfriend of Anne Hathaway in Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, okay.
But
I remember him from that.
I don't know if he's done anything since then. He's 50 years old.
Yeah, he's kind of a no-name.
I'm scraping the bottom of
You really
the barrel.
are, yeah, it's,
but I'm going to save the best
the
for
guy
last.
that knew him. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yes. Sofia Vergara. You know who she
Vergara.
is?
Oh, yeah, she's on
Yes.
America's Got Talent, but she was on that show,
Yeah, Modern Family.
Modern Family.
She is 54 today.
She wears some risque clothing on America's Got Talent, I might add.
You think?
Oh, she does. Yeah,
You think
little
it does
slutty
it on
looking,
purpose?
little slutty
Does it on
looking.
purpose?
I think she does to show off various memorial assets.
Yes.
That's I think the reason that she does that because that's what they do.
That is.
She and Mel B are the two. Yeah, there you go. I think
I'm
she
gonna
was.
be quiet.
I think she was Slutty Spice in the Spice Girls or whatever
I
they
think-
called.
I think
Each
she
of them had a
was.
name. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was her. No, I don't know. I mean, I'm
Could
not
be.
sure.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Yes.
we're finding out bit and piece more, and I know you've been eager for this,
Yes,
and
yes.
I've been breathless about Taylor and Travis's wedding. You know,
Do it.
The Taylor and Travis.
So where's this from?
Taylor Swift and Mr. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, their wedding last weekend. They forked over anywhere from 20 to 30 million for their wedding, according to a website called The Knot Worldwide. That includes this is a basic
It's a mere
breakdown.
pittance.
5 million to 10 million renting Madison Square Garden, including several days for load in and load out, plus infrastructure to transform the venue.
You know, it was easy to get to for all of their guests.
Yeah.
Made sense.
Yeah, sure. $5 million minimum. Decor, floral arrangements, draping, and carpet installation. $5 million minimum it costs for that. Here you go. $2.5 million to $3 million catering and logistics for around 1,100 guests. And way over 15 number of beers that Jason Kelce had that night. He also called the wedding great and a good time. Way to go, Jason. You spit out probably the most complex word you'll get all year. But there you go. A little bit. Now, we're getting bit and pieces about this wedding. I'm telling you, all this wedding was about was making money for the Kelces.
Well,
for the Swifts.
She's already got money. What is she? She doesn't need.
They want more.
You think?
They want more.
She'll just make another album.
Well, you know what? At some point in time, he's going to be done playing football. She's going to be done singing. And they want to have a little nest egg.
He's already
or a big nest
investing,
egg.
and
yeah.
I don't think she's worried.
Last time you had a nest egg like this, an ostrich had, had it. But
so 20, 30 million for billionaires is just nothing.
That's a pittance.
It is.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Pittance.
Hey, you've been asking who's paying attention to the World Cup.
Yes.
And we have an update.
America is falling in love with soccer no matter what teams are playing, as more than 44 million people in the U.S. watched the Mexico versus England game in the round of 16. 23.2 million on Telemundo and 21.7 million watched on Fox. The 21.7 million on Fox made it the most watched U.S. English language World Cup telecast ever that didn't feature the U.S. men's national team. The network said Wednesday the average audience for England's 3-2 win in Mexico City on Sunday night tops the previous record of the final between Argentina and France in 2022, which was seen by 16.7 million people. The U.S.-Belgian game the following night is the most watched at 30 million. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Yes. So last night's game, or I guess yesterday's game, was a quarterfinal.
France beat Morocco 2-zip.
Morocco, they have this graph, okay, and it's called like tempo of the game.
Yes.
So, so gray is for one side, red is for Morocco.
Yeah.
So Morocco had one little spike.
Like zip.
Yes, it was like the perfect example of this game. They barely, I think they got really 2 shots on goal.
They were like a blip on the screen.
It was so, it was almost pathetic in a way. I couldn't quite figure out if it was strategy.
Right.
Or are they just like outclassed? I mean, there's no difference between, there is a lot of difference between these top handful of teams, England, Spain, Belgium, France, and everybody else. So they just happen to get into the quarterfinals. Later today, though, it's a big game. It's
well, later on
Spain.
today, it's going to be Spain and Belgium.
Yeah, that's going to be
Spain has not been scored on yet in the World Cup. Did you know that?
Well, and they are defending champs, I believe.
3 o'clock today.
Yes.
I thought Argentina was, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
That could be.
But Spain is playing Belgium today at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow, you got Norway hooking up with England at 5 o'clock. And then tomorrow at 9 p.m., Argentina and Switzerland. Don't cry for me, Argentina. There you go. I couldn't help myself. Anyway.
Yes, it was Argentina.
So France is the first one into the semifinals now with their win last night of Morocco. So now Spain and Belgium, Norway and England, and Argentina and Switzerland. But I'm glad to hear that information you gave beforehand about that we're watching now no matter who's playing, because we're getting down to the final group. And we do appreciate the fact that it's been held here, I think, in this hemisphere,
Yes.
in the North and South Americas. And I think I think it has picked up a lot of people who are now watching the game a little bit more intently. And I think the fact that the United States made it to the round of 16 was good. We're not much better than that right now.
That's for
But
sure.
maybe it's going to pick up more soccer fans. Apparently it has, at least for the moment.
Yeah, can't quite figure out what makes a team better. Is it some of the guys look just as big and fast, but I mean, the strategy, the coaching, I mean, it's all... I don't know what makes a good team. I do know what makes a bad team. And boy, if that was Morocco.
We saw it the other night. Yeah, Morocco wasn't that good, but But I was looking the other night, and you look at this whole idea of the game, and will it stick? Will it stick around? That's a big question here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Well, we're going to come back with more show right after this. We got Kevin Smith. It's a Good Friday here on the Gary Sutton Show. Kevin, of course, the Chief Kindness Chaser for Kindness Worldwide, and he'll take a look back at the week through the lens of kindness. It is 7 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good. I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Here's Johnny.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
Yeah, Kevin Smith just gave me this book this morning, Keep Smiling or Keep Shining, A Journey from Dark to Light, not to be confused with The Shining, which you just heard from there with Jack Nicholson. Here's Johnny, you know, and he's hacking through the door there to get that ugly woman that he's married to. Angelique Letizia. We're going to talk about her this morning a little bit. This hour of the Gary Sutton Show, the 7 o'clock hour, brought to you by the best in barbecue, Pappy's Q. Barbecue and seafood at 35 North Main Street, right there in Jacobus, PA. They say 35A North Main Street because in that little shopette right behind Rutter's across from Smith Village. You can give them a call today at 717-347-7062 to get takeout or to get reservations. But Todd and Amy Howdyshell have created an oasis for barbecue and seafood. What a combination. And they have got the most wonderful, delectable food that you would find anywhere, like wings. All you can eat wings, by the way. Appetizers like little neck clams and popcorn shrimp and clam strips and onion petals and platters served with two sides, like a choice of 2 barbecue meats, choice of 3 barbecue meats, brisket, pork, sausage, chicken leg quarter. You got smokehouse chicken, burnt ends, ribs. You got surf and turf, brisket and lobster tail, ribs and crab legs, all of it right there. They've got all you can eat in brisket, ribs, steamed shrimp, fried shrimp, barbecue chicken, French fries, hush puppies, snow crab legs, all for $59 and all you can eat. Oh, yeah, they got all that. Po' boys. They got kids' meals. They got macaroni and cheese like the Piggy Mac. They've got it all right there for you, and it's waiting right now at Pappy's Q. And if you stop out at Pappy's Q, they're open tonight, 4 to 8 o'clock. Yeah, 4 to 8 o'clock. And then Saturday, 10 to 8. Sunday, 10 to 7. 4 to 8 on Monday. Then they're closed Tuesday and Wednesday, and it starts all over again, 4 to 8 on Thursday. Pappy's Q. Barbecue and seafood. And don't forget, when you're out here at the stadium at the Revs game, they are here now at the stadium. When you walk through the gate, turn left, walk about 10 steps down, and you'll find Pappy's Q on your left. And they've got just great food all the time. I go there constantly, and I love it. And don't forget to ask about the funnel cake dough that is on the French fried shrimp. I've got a friend named Nancy who loves it. They went down there 5 days out of 6 the 1 week to get that stuff. So, I mean, people really love Pappy's Q, and they're finding out what I already found out. It's the best in barbecue and seafood anywhere here in York County. 717-347-7062. WOYK News Time is 7:07 here on a Friday morning, and we wrap up the week. It's a Good Friday. Every Friday's a Good Friday when Kevin Smith's here, but it all started for him on the Good Friday 3 years ago when he lost his wallet. And he's kind of sorry he did now because now it's changed his whole life. But he's not sorry at all. He's actually reveled in that. But good morning, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, some people say that I lost my wallet and simultaneously lost my mind. And there are times I think they're right.
Well, some have said that about me occasionally. One of them sits in this room with me regularly. But outside of that, I'm over it. But we look back at the week through the lens of kindness. What kind of hits you this week? What comes across as you kind of take in all that happened to you during the week, or we look around the world, we look around York County or around Pennsylvania? What are you thinking about?
Well, there continues to be a lot of momentum on the Kindness Worldwide global movement front. There's a lot happening there with the film and, of course, the platform we're launching in August and Pack the Park August 20th. And so we're always progressing in that front.
Tell people, before you go on there, tell people a little bit about this platform, because I think you've alluded to it. People maybe missed the segment on Monday. I think really would like to hear about what this platform is about, because it is something entirely new.
It is. Well, we obviously have a global movement well underway, inspired by a simple act of kindness right here in York County. And we needed a platform to really help advance the movement because we want to celebrate kindness every day throughout the year. Our signature initiative is Kindness Week worldwide, celebrated 8 days every November. And that's really just to develop mindful habits because we want to have a culture of kindness every day. So we needed a platform. And that platform is called ROK, R-O-K.
Okay.
It stands for Random Opportunities for Kindness because there are no random acts of kindness. There are only random opportunities. The act is always a choice.
Right.
ROK is also symbolic in that kindness is a strength. Kindness is not soft. It is solid as a rock. So it connotates strength, which kindness is. And also, ROK is the platform of the global movement.
Right.
It's the foundation built on ROK, so to speak. And so what ROK will enable us to do, it's an app, a website. It's going to be revolutionary. We have some top talent on it. Partnering with my Kindness Worldwide ambassador, Peter Samuelson, the filmmaker. He's wanted to do this ever since the movie Pay It Forward came out. And we just met, and it was like lightning in a bottle. But through this app, we will have the ability to record acts of kindness, trace their ripple effects, and accumulate points. It's a point-based system. And we'll be able to track kindness by individual, by zip code, by organization, by workplace, by school or county, and roll up points and celebrate what we call our Champions of Kindness. This is part of Kindness Worldwide's Champions of Kindness initiative. So theoretically, we will be able to celebrate our Champions of Kindness theoretically in the state of Pennsylvania or any state, and ideally have governors recognize their champions or have mayors recognize the champions in their communities. And this is a way of really making kindness become contagious, making it hip, fashionable, trendy, and cool, so to speak. It's particularly relevant for the younger generation, college campuses engaging in innovative ways. Vail, Colorado is going to be engaging, one of the early adapters. So a lot of good things happening, and ROK is the platform to support the global movement.
Yeah, I think it's great. And, the more I look around, you said something, there are opportunities all the time everywhere you look. I think that's one of the things that we want to look at. World Cup. You've been very interested in the World Cup. Apply the lens of kindness here to the World Cup. I think there's something really positive coming out of this. I'm not a great fan of soccer, but you know what? It's more than soccer. I'm reading stories about people that have come here to America that had a vision of America and Americans, I think, as kind of this selfish bunch of people who just and you're reading more and more stories about some guy that took a foreign person to a game and wined and dined them. You're hearing stories about people saying, hey, this is a pretty cool place. I heard the other day about people are wanting to take ranch dressing back with them to Europe and other places. They've never had that before. But people are getting a chance to talk, to get to know people here in America. I think this has been a really positive thing. And again, through the lens of kindness, it certainly fits into what we're talking about this morning.
It really does. Well, there's narrative and perception, and kindness is truth. And I think the truth is that we live in a wonderful country. America is a beacon of freedom and democracy to the world, and yet perception is often otherwise. I think largely driven by media narratives and politics and divisions. But now you have people from all over the world coming into our country and seeing our country for how it is. They're seeing the best of America. They are seeing America itself. And they're seeing that all the things that they're hearing about or reading about, perhaps through an unkind lens of narrative and media, is very different than what they're experiencing. So they're going home and taking ranch dressing. They're experiencing America. They're experiencing Buc-ee's. And they're seeing people in America just welcome them with kindness and sportsmanship. And it's wonderful. I think the timing is perfect with the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in America. And what a wonderful thing for our country and really for the world, because a strong America, it makes everyone better and stronger. And united we stand, and divided we fall, as we say. But we are a global community, and we are united as a country. And I think in the world, you're seeing the best of the world and the country at the World Cup.
How small is an act of kindness? I was reading in Princess Anne, Maryland this morning, and it showed a video. And it was a simple act of kindness by a Princess Anne police officer, and it's gaining momentum. It's a viral video after a video of him helping a high school senior tie his necktie before the prom went viral on social media. The video shows Princess Anne Police Lieutenant Scott Carew helping James Lee get ready for the prom after Lee's mother, Sierra Jackson, asked for help. The encounter was recorded on the station's video doorbell. The video, posted to the police department's Facebook, has since received more than 150,000 likes, along with thousands of comments and shares. Well, the attention has been extraordinary. Princess Anne Police Chief Robert Smith said the moment reflects the everyday work officers do in their community. This was never meant to be viral. It was never about creating a viral moment, he said. Jackson said she realized after working an overnight shift that her son still did not have a tie for the prom. In the video, Jackson can be heard saying, "Hi, yes, I'm sorry. I have a random question. My son, he is graduating this year, and I need someone to tie his tie. I don't know how to do it. Would somebody possibly know how to do that?" Carew responded to the request and nodded the tie for Lee. "When you go into this job, you're not looking for the accolades. You know, I'm just glad I could be there," Carew said. Smith said he hopes this viral video reminds people that acts of service often happen outside of emergency situations, just regular, everyday kind of things. I hope that people realize this story isn't just about a necktie, right? It's about taking a few minutes out of your day to help someone else. Law enforcement does that every day. Jackson said she was overwhelmed by the public support following the video. "I actually started crying because I was like, wow, I didn't think people cared." Isn't that what you're talking about this morning? Right there it is. On the simplest act, tying a tie for somebody that didn't know how to do it.
Such a beautiful story, Gary, and it's very true. Law enforcement don't do things like this every single day, as do all of us. But they rarely get the attention. They're rarely in the public eye. What does get in the public eye, which is very concerning to me, is all the bad.
Yeah.
And that gets in the media narrative. And look, police officers have a difficult job and responsibility, and they have to make split-second decisions. And sometimes those moments don't go well. That tends to make headlines. And the good, like you just described, should be headlines every day, because that is the norm. That's happening every day. It's one of the reasons why kindness citations is resonating. And there's so much. I think this platform, Rock, is going to be able to take those stories and amplify them, because they're everywhere. I don't think the media at large does a good enough job of reporting those stories, which is why they go viral so easily, because people are thirsting for the good. They're thirsting to hear about these uplifting stories, and they're just not getting it through traditional media. They're looking for other alternatives, and we hope Rock is going to be that avenue. It's going to help amplify stories just like that, multiples more.
So hearing this story, it goes right to the heart of what you're saying. 150,000 likes. People want to find good news. Now, we'll stop and look at the accident along the way, too. We'll have the crane next. But people are looking for that amidst some of the darkness. Let's take a break. We're going to come back with more. But I just thought this particular article, you talk about how small a kind of, this is a single mother who couldn't tie a tie. By the way, they said the kid wore the tie to the prom that evening, and it was tied so well. They said Carew tied it so well that he kept it knotted, allowing her son to wear it again about 2 weeks later for his high school graduation. So they kept the knot right there, somehow got it off his head, and they used it again 2 weeks later.
The ripple effects of a simple act of kindness.
Isn't that funny? There you go. We're going to come back and talk more about kindness and the week through the lens of kindness with Kevin Smith. Chief Kindness Chaser for Kindness Worldwide, a proud sponsor of this show right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Back with more right after this.
Fox Sports Update.
Death, taxes, and World Cup goals by Kylian Mbappe. The 27-year-old French soccer great did it again Thursday.
Mario heads it back in. Due able to find Mbappe. Through traffic. Kylian Mbappe! 20 career World Cup goals! Gives France the lead in the quarterfinal.
On Fox TV, 4 years after France had defeated Morocco 2-0 in a World Cup semifinal. Thursday in Foxborough, Massachusetts, France shut out Morocco 2-0 in a World Cup quarterfinal. That sent France into the semis against either Spain or Belgium. They square off today, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. France now close to an even money favorite to win this tournament. Kylian Mbappe, who was subbed out in the 77th minute yesterday after he took a knock to his ankle and said he's all good, missed a penalty kick in the first half, but then he scored his 8th goal of this tournament in the 60th minute before he assisted on France's 2nd goal in the 66th minute by Ousmane Dembélé, his 5th of the tournament. Mbappe now has 20 career World Cup goals, one fewer than Lionel Messi for the most. This is Mbappe's 3rd World Cup, Messi playing in his 6th. Today, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, pregame coverage begins on Fox TV ahead of Spain versus Belgium in Englewood, California, a match that Spain is strongly favored to win. The quarterfinals wrap up with 2 fixtures tomorrow, Norway versus England, and then Messi and Argentina take on Switzerland. Tennis, men's semifinals today at Wimbledon, 7-time champ Novak Djokovic versus world number 1 ranked and defending Wimbledon champion Jannik Sinner. Also, Alexander Zverev faces wildcard Arthur Ferry from Great Britain. The women's final set for tomorrow between 2 players from Czechia, Karolina Muchova, who beat American Coco Gauff in the 3rd set super tiebreak 12-10, and Linda Noskova, who advanced in straight sets over Marta Kostuk. For more scores, stories, and features, go to foxsports.com. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. We're at 724 with Kevin Smith, Chief Kindness Chaser for KindnessWorldwide.org. The guy who originated that whole thing. I saw an interesting random act of kindness this morning. And for those of you that are walking around downtown York today, you see parking meters everywhere, right? Have you ever gone by a parking meter where someone is parked there and the meter has run out? And what do? You say, oh, man, they're going to get a ticket. Or do you say, I got an extra quarter here. I'm going to drop it in there and give them a little bit more time. There's a random act of kindness. Say, drop the quarter in there and buy a little extra time for someone. I saw it this morning under 35 different random acts of kindness you could do today. Now you say, well, that's kind of dumb. No, it's not. It's a little random act of kindness. Maybe drop 2 quarters in. You're going to get like 20 minutes out of that. But there you go. Give a homeless person your doggy bag today. Maybe help a mother carry her baby stroller up the stairs of a hallway. Each time you get a new item of clothing, give away an item of clothing would be something else. Take someone's shift as the carpool parent today. Bring your assistant coffee. Out of the blue, send flowers to a friend. Say please and thank you and really mean it. Kevin, those are just a few of the things you could do today, right?
Well, every single one of those examples you just
Need a mic there. Need a mic.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Every single one of those examples you just described is a wonderful opportunity to document them by the Rock platform.
Yep.
And they're simple things, but they're big things because these things happen all the time. We often don't hear about them. And because we don't hear about them, we think that it's not happening, that we think that kindness is much less than it is. It's pervasive throughout, our communities. Because, again, it's the negative news that dominates. So we want to turn that around and have these things that are occurring. People just take the time or a minute and say, hey, I just did this act of kindness, or I witnessed this act of kindness. And then expand that ripple effect. That can really make a huge difference.
One of the things you could do is say, I'm sorry when you're wrong. Nobody in politics is ever that way, but, it'd be nice for people to just say, I'm sorry. If you heard President Trump say, I'm sorry, first of all, after you fainted, you'd get back up and you'd say, really? You said that? I'm sorry. I really screwed up. I don't think I've ever heard him say that. I'm partially kidding, but I'm partially not because, you want to have some humility I think is part of kindness also, Kevin.
I was thinking exactly that term. I mean, we're looking for humility in our leaders, and we're looking for leaders who lead by example.
And not just President Trump, all leaders.
Everybody at every level. I've said we have an epidemic of leadership erosion throughout our country and the world, and we're looking for strong leaders who lead by example, who lead with kindness, and put the 8 characteristics of kindness into action. And those characteristics, again, are gratitude, patience, forgiveness, empathy and compassion, respect, joy, generosity, and service. And even though humility is not listed among them, it's really enveloped amongst all of them, is people just doing things for the right reasons. They're not seeking any undue intention. They're just doing what's right. They're standing on principle, and they're doing it with a humble servant heart. We are thirsting for that type of leadership right now.
Here is a random act of kindness today that every one of us can do without doing anything extra. How many times do we come across somebody during the course of the day, and what do we say? How you doing? And they could, and sometimes we just say it as a matter of course. It's like, dear occupant, how are you doing? But how are you doing? And then really listen to his or her response. You know, if you could say, how are you doing? If you want to find out if someone's really listening, say, well, I'm radioactive. You know, but you know, the bottom line would be, and you're kidding, but by the same token, when you say, how are you doing, really mean it. And want to know, and there are people who do that, by the way. There are people who really do listen, and you say, by the way, I just found out that I've got a disease, or I'm sick, or whatever. You know, and then say, well, tell me about where you may have caught that. What might have happened? You're good at that, Kevin. Kevin, when you're talking to Kevin and you tell him a story, Kevin will ask you about different aspects of that. And I think when you really are truly a good listener, you also become generally a pretty good conversationalist. And then people know you care. Find out someone's name. You know, you and I go out to breakfast a lot, and we always ask the names of people, and you want to know them because that name makes them important. That name makes them matter because they do matter. And you want to make sure that you chronicle that they matter. And when you say, hey, Lisa, thank you so much for a great job today. I always write on a receipt, Lisa, thank you for a great job today. You know, I don't care who you are. And you can try to be as cool as you want to be. But when someone says, man, you did a good job, and they use your name, you know what? You feel pretty good about it.
Well, that's a little thing it's seemingly a little thing that is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And active listening is a skill, and it's often becoming a lost art that people aren't focused on enough. And empathy and compassion, taking the time, say hello to a stranger is one thing. But taking the time to listen to their story.
Right.
Now, that's taking it to a whole other level because that is showing empathy because you are truly genuinely interested. You're not being dismissive. And many people, it's on the one hand, it's great to say hello and walk by because people do that kind of without thinking about it. The other is to go the extra mile and really get to know someone. And so maybe that's a takeaway going into the weekend is, you know, take the time to say hello to a stranger and learn their stories. And if you do that, you will have a whole new perspective. You'll made a new friend and really made an impact because everyone wants to be seen. No one wants to be the blurry face. And that is a wonderful way through active listening their stories to make someone feel seen and valued, and calling them by name also goes such a long way.
And here's something else you could do. And you don't think about this as being a kindness thing, but passing along a great book you've just finished reading. You just gave me a book this morning by Angelique Letizia called Keep Shining, A Journey from Dark to Light. And I'm taking this with me when I go up to the Juniata area this weekend, and I'll read this probably in a day. It's not a long read, but, you know, that's a mark of kindness. It's a mark of a friend. And giving me something that you've read that's really good and passing it along to somebody else, there you go.
Well, it's a wonderful read. I know you will enjoy it. Angelique Letizia is a wonderful person, a dear friend. She's a Kindness Worldwide ambassador out of Connecticut. She is, in my opinion, the best author, best writer I've ever come across. She really writes from the heart. That book is from the heart and has a powerful message.
Right.
You know, keep shining. We all experience dark moments in our lives. It's not what happens to us that matters, is how we respond. And, you know, when you go through dark periods, and everyone does, you know, you appreciate the light that much more. Angelique has a wonderful life story and wonderful life messages in the book. I know you'll enjoy it.
Angelique Letizia, Letizia. You can check it out. Keep Shining. A Journey from Dark to Light. I'm going to be reading that this weekend and find out more about it. Kevin, great conversation this morning. Thank you so much. Circle August 20th on your calendar. Pack the park here at Wellspan Park for kindness. Pack the park for kindness, and you can find out more about it on kindnessworldwide.org. Also, if you want to have a private showing of the film for such a time as this, Kevin can do that for you. Get his email off kindnessworldwide.org and have him come out. He'll be glad to do it. Have a great conversation with you. It is gaining all kinds of recognition worldwide for such a time as this. Kevin, always great to have you on a Friday morning. Have a great weekend, my friend. We'll see you on Monday.
You as well. Have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to chasing some more kindness for the next few days. And we will talk about it on Monday morning.
You got it, my friend. Thank you so much. Kevin Smith here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. When we come back, Dr. Gracia ATN, back from the Dominican Republic, to talk about your mental well-being, all here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Glenn Campbell.
I've been walking these streets so long, singing
just a rhinestone cowboy.
You know, he could act, he could play. It was a great session guitar player. He could sing. It was one of those rare people that could do it all.
He, at the end of his life, and I saw him on a couple of shows with his wife, and he got dementia, and then he got Alzheimer's really bad. But he kept on performing. What was interesting about that with the mind was that he could still sing his songs. He could remember his song, and then it got to the point where he started forgetting some of that. But he, he couldn't remember things that were nearby, but he could remember things in the past. And I found that to be true with my uncles and aunts who got Alzheimer's at the end of their life. They could remember things that happened long ago in the recess of their mind, but the things that were up close, they couldn't remember your name sometime, things like that. It was really hard to do that. By the way, this hour of the Gary Sutton Show being brought to you by Pappy's Q Barbecue and Seafood at 35A North Main Street in Jacobus, PA, right there in that shop bet behind Rutter's. And for the best in barbecue and seafood, you want to get down to Pappy's Q. They're open today 4 to 8 p.m. And also this weekend, you can stop on down there and see them 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday. And they are ready to give you the very best in barbecue and seafood. Give them a call at 717-347-7062 to get a reservation or takeout. They have all you can eat there with wings. They've got the all you can eat briskets, ribs, steamed shrimp, fried shrimp, barbecue chicken, French fries, hush puppies, snow crab legs, all for $59. All you can eat. Po' boys, mac and cheese like the Piggy Mac, the Moo Mac, the Krabby Mac. They've even got, if you want to do something a little bit different, they've got the breaded oysters, and they've got breaded shrimp made out of funnel cake dough. It's an incredible taste, and you'll love it right down there at Pappy's Q. And don't forget, they're here at the stadium now, too. When you come in here at Pappy's Q, you need to check out what they have right at the stadium. Walk through the door, and you go to the left. It's right there, the first eating stand on the left. And don't forget, yours might be good, but it ain't like Pappy makes. Pappy's Q, my favorite place for barbecue and seafood. Make it yours tonight, 4 to 8 p.m. tonight. And this weekend, check them out. Pappy's Q at 35 North Main Street, right here in Jacobus, PA. 717-347-7062. And tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. With that, we turn right now to Dr. Gracia ATN this morning, head of York TMS Clinic at 1806 North George Street, right here in York. Good morning, Dr. ATN. How are you today?
Good morning, Gary. Good morning, my friend.
You've had some tough months here. You've had some real tough times. Obviously, your wife Manat passed back in March, and now you lost a brother. You're just back from the Dominican Republic. Talk about testing your mental health and testing your spiritual health. You've had a lot of that, haven't you?
The last 3 months haven't been too friendly to me.
Yeah, and yet at the same time, you keep on going forward. You keep that smile on your face, and you keep looking at the next day, right?
Exactly. It's life is lifing, and you have to embrace it. And like I keep saying, it's not. It's not. I can't say that life continue, but I can say our life will continue. So it's not going to be the same, but you have to figure out a way to move forward. That's one way to honor those two dear people in my life.
You know what? It's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day, that in our lives, our book is written with all kinds of different chapters. And I've always, as a coach, I always had two, what I call the double A's, attack and adjust. You attack with what you know, and you adjust to what you don't. And it seems to me that what you just said a moment ago, life is different. It's not the life that you knew, but you have a new one. You have a new place, a new chapter, a new moment, if you will. And that's what we have. And so for many people that go through the happy and the sad moments of life, you're constantly adjusting to a new life, as it were. And maybe that's one of the things we have to look at from a mental health standpoint as we go through, right? Our mental and our spiritual health as well.
Well, yes, the concept of adaptability is one of the strengths that we have as human beings. I mean, that's how we can move from civilization to civilization. That's how we can progress, because things keep changing all the time. You certainly have heard the saying that change is constant. You never remain the same. And we are blessed enough to have what's called the plasticity of our brain. Our brain can actually change and adapt and grow constantly for the rest of our life. That's one of the tissue in our body that can actually grow and change until we are called off this earth. Yeah.
When you look at what you're doing right now, York TMS Clinic, you've been talking to me about some new things you're considering, some new things that you're doing. Tell me a little bit about TMS therapy here in York. It's something that has been new to York maybe, but not new to the medical field. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, TMS is actually based on the same concept of brain's plasticity, the possibility of the brain to adapt, the possibility of the brain to actually grow and change over time. When we're dealing with people who have depression, the brain stops functioning the way it functions. Most tissues in that state, you can't reverse it, but with the brain tissue, if you figure out a way to stimulate them enough, they will actually go back and start working normally. And TMS, calling transcranial magnetic stimulation, it's a concept of using very low dose of magnetic pulses to stimulate the cells and realign them and awaken them and get them into the proper function again. Just like you said, it's not a new concept. It's been around for quite a while, but we are at a point right now where we have enough popular data, enough clinical research to popularize it, and we know that it does not have any significant side effect, no interaction with medications.
Right.
It's very well tolerated by patients. So to a great extent, it's one of the great tools that we have right now for patients who are dealing with depression. Currently, it's being offered mostly for patients who have tried medications and have failed, or people who have significant reactions from medications or things like that. I suspect that very soon it will be one of the, if not the most provided tools or treatment for the first stage for depression, because it is so well tolerated, and the results are way better than medicine, from what I can see so far, or from what is being published.
Right.
So far.
Yeah, so 83% of patients saw improvements in depression symptoms. Here's 62% of patients saw symptom relief remission. That's pretty good. And when you talk about depression, we're talking about the major depressive disorders. Those are people who haven't responded to one or more antidepressant medications, or you have anxious depression, which targets both depressive and anxiety symptoms simultaneously for patients experiencing co-occurring depression and anxiety, which can be bad. OCD, where you have obsessive compulsive disorder, who've not found adequate relief through medication or therapy. And then you've got adolescent depression, 15 years of age and up. And you've got all kinds of things that it can help for you. Now, you can find a video of this by going to @GarySutton Show on Facebook. Now, you have to page on down a ways and find Dr. ATN, and I'll be sitting in a kind of a lazy boy kind of chair there, and Dr. ATN talks about it as I sit there and go through the treatment. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it is something that is worthwhile checking into. 1806 North George Street, right here in York, is York TMS Clinic. That's where Dr. ATN has his office. It's just up here across Route 30. And they are ready to give you a packet. They're ready to tell you about the most updated things in the industry right now. They're ready to tell you how it works. They're ready to show you the machine. They're ready to help you, and you'll get a smile and a hug while you're there probably as well. But that's what it's all about, helping people get better when they have various kinds of depression, clinical depression, like I've fought my whole life. And maybe you haven't found relief yet. Well, if you haven't, here's another tool in the tool belt. And can you afford not to get help? If you know someone with PTSD, a veteran, or you know somebody out there that's an adolescent, or someone in your family, and you don't quite understand what's going on, maybe this is an opportunity, Dr. ATN.
Yes, life thing, we can help you cope with it.
Why don't you give a call today and they are ready to help you right now at 717-699-7361. That's 717-699-7361. You can also find out more about NeuroStar and more about York TMS Clinic by going to yorktmsclinic.com or stop on in. 1806 North George Street in York. See Simone, Dr. ATN, all the good people there. They are ready to help you today to have a better, balance of life. And that's really what it's all about. Dr. ATN, really appreciate you and what you're trying to do, my friend.
Thank you so much, my friend. Let's continue to raise the awareness.
Yep, I fully endorse what Dr. ATN's doing and what he's trying to get done at the York TMS Clinic. Check it out today. Give him a call, 717-699-7361, or stop on in. York TMS Clinic. They are located right there at 1806 North George Street in York, or go to yorktmsclinic.com. Most major insurances take care of that, and you don't have to be referred by another doctor. You can actually refer yourself and go in there yourself. That's how good they are. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it's 747.
Chastain will take it. She missed a penalty kick against China in the Algarve Cup, and they lost that game.
I think once, placing that ball down, stepping back, hearing the same thing over and over in my head, don't look at the goalkeeper, don't look at the goalkeeper. And knowing that, I had a chance to win the World Cup was probably the least thing from my head.
27 years ago today on this date, 1999, U.S. women's soccer,
and I see it.
They win the World Cup. Can you just imagine beating? Do you remember who?
Was it China?
It was.
Yeah,
at the Rose Bowl.
You know what was weird on that? She pulled her shirt off after
Yes.
that. Now, she had on a sport bra. Not a big deal, but by present day standards. But how did you equate that? I mean, I don't know why we do that, where you'd pull your shirt off after. That'd be your first. That was her first reaction upon scoring. That she went down on her knees and then pulled her shirt off. I don't know. But it was a hell of a goal. I mean, she rocketed that thing in the upper left-hand corner of the net, and
it went all the way. Then the ball went all the way around the net.
Yeah,
so
it was pretty incredible.
Yes.
And if you're a goalkeeper, which I used to be, it is the most helpless feeling when you're standing there. You've got to guess which way they're going. I mean, she could have kicked it right-footed or left-footed. She didn't show which foot she was going to go until right at the end. And now you say, is she going to go on the left side, the right side? And I've got to dive the right way and guess right. And she had missed one earlier in the tournament because she said, I focused on the goalkeeper instead of focusing on where I wanted to kick it in the net. And she said, you have to kind of ignore the goalkeeper and then kick it. You heard her in that little talk right there, which I thought was kind of fascinating on the mentality.
Inside her head.
Yeah. By the way, I saw a Pennsylvania bill. Here's someone who needs a life. State Senator Representative Catherine Wallen, who's a Republican from Adams and Cumberland County. She is seeking to ban fairs from using the state fair name, which York State Fair, coming up on July 24th, is one of those that uses that. Yeah, now she says her bill would prohibit fairs from using the moniker in names and advertising and, quote, keep all fairs across the state on the same level and not allude that they are recognized as the official state fair of Pennsylvania, unquote. Now, I don't know if York State Fair has ever said that they're the official state fair of Pennsylvania. York State Fair has operated as America's first fair because we kind of are. 1765, I think we got started with an annual event at the York Expo Center. It has held the title of the York State Fair since 2018 when it changed its name, but has struggled a little bit with attendance and performance lineups in recent years, it says in this article.
It's hot.
Yeah. Now, the first Carlisle State Fair was also introduced last month at the Carlisle Fairgrounds, promising to be the region's largest fair of its kind. Again, not saying we're the only state fair, just saying we're a big fair in the region. And there you go. Now, Wallen, this lady who apparently doesn't have anything else to do, argues that the only event that should claim the state fair title is the annual Pennsylvania Farm Show in Harrisburg.
Okay.
Really? We don't have a budget, but we can put this kind of crap out about a state fair? I think not.
Speaking of...
Did I sound too cruel in that, Mark?
Speaking of state
harsh.
fairs,
yeah.
What about the Great American State Fair?
The Great American State Fair winds up its run in Washington, D.C. with the day's theme of the next 250, innovation. It celebrates the systems being built to move the country forward, like artificial intelligence and space propulsion. The fair is part of President Trump's Freedom 250 events to mark America's semi-quincentennial. Freedom 250 events will continue through the year with the Patriot Games next month, as well as traveling museums known as Freedom Trucks that are stopping in communities across the country. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
So far, they haven't really kind of caught on as well as maybe the president would like and maybe the organizers would like. But hopefully, here's a question they have, too. Is everything post-July 4th kind of after the fact? Or are we still celebrating? Do we have the idea that we're celebrating the whole year? Have we gotten the concept? That's going to remain to be seen. Here's a story this morning. I had not seen anything about this. But apparently 8 men were indicted on murder and terrorism conspiracy charges yesterday for their alleged roles in a thwarted drone and sniper attack on the UFC cage fighting show staged at the White House in June. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not know about this. The indictment returned in Ohio, of all places, charges all 8 in 2 separate conspiracies, one to provide material support to terrorists, and a second to commit murder on federal government territory and to murder a federal government official. Now, it remains unclear from the court records how close the would-be attackers could have come to being able to carry out the plan had it not been thwarted. According to the new indictment, the plot began in May when the group began amassing money, firearms, ammunition, body armor, explosive drones, medical equipment, communications equipment, and other items. It was on June 10th that law enforcement officials learned about a possible threat to President Donald Trump's UFC cage fighting show 4 days before the mixed martial arts extravaganza was scheduled to take place. The Justice Department last month announced a series of criminal complaints in different districts across the country in connection with the UFC plot, and including ones from Ohio, Missouri, Washington, Nebraska, and California. Now, the indictment announced Thursday represents an effort by the government to streamline the case and knit the defendants together into a single conspiracy prosecution in Ohio. Officials said the group members harbored fringe conspiracy theories and hoped the attack would destabilize the government. One of the defendants, Mark, told investigators they planned to fly explosive-laden drones into the event and then shoot panicked crowd members as they fled, according to a federal affidavit. They communicated through online chat groups and forums and classified participants into tiers, with Tier 1 participants committing, quote, to put themselves in harm's way, break the law, and potentially go into hiding, unquote, according to the federal indictment. So we'll see what comes out of that, but that's something that kind of jumped onto the news page very quickly.
Here is, to go the exact opposite way, here are some of the most livable cities in America.
Okay.
What do you think?
Copenhagen is once again the world's most...
I'm sorry.
In the world.
In the world.
Copenhagen is once again the world's most livable city, according to the Economist Intelligence Unit's annual Global Livability Index. The ranking scores 173 cities on stability, healthcare, education, infrastructure, and culture. Vienna finishes second, followed by Melbourne, Sydney, and Zurich. No U.S. city cracks the top 10, although New York records one of the biggest improvements in this year's rankings. Researchers say the highest-ranked cities offer a combination of strong public services, reliable infrastructure, low crime, and easy access to health care. Matt Murphy, Fox News.
And we talk about the World Cup that's been going on for almost a month. A lot of people are listening to the World Cup right now in Spanish. They're watching broadcasts of the World Cup matches in Spanish on Telemundo, even though they have little idea, or in some cases no idea, what the announcers are saying. I can't really understand everything they're saying on Telemundo because they're speaking Spanish. This one girl, Ashley Helm, said, but you understand what's going on. They're trying to learn another language, and they're, watching it here. It's a little bit different kind of look. We'll spend more time on that story later on. When we come back, Jim McClure joins us with a host of topics, all here on the Gary Sutton Show, as we look back on the history of York County straight ahead. But first of all, we have news. It is 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good. I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all the things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
I don't know what they are, but allegedly we have some skills. Good morning and welcome to the Gary Sutton Show here, the main street of York and York County, the voice of York and York County, if you will. Live from Brooks Robinson Plaza here at Wellspan Park. Gary Sutton, Mark McKenzie with you here on a Friday morning. And I do want to thank Pappy's Q. Barbecue and Seafood for being the sponsor of last hour of the Gary Sutton Show. 35 North Main Street at Jacobus, open 4 to 8 tonight. Get on out there and tell them Gary Sutton sent you. 717-347-7062. You can make a reservation right now. And don't forget they're open on weekends also, 10 to 8 on Saturday, 10 to 7 on Sunday. And then 4 to 8 on Monday. They're open, closed Tuesday and Wednesday, but then back again at Thursday. And it starts all over. And don't forget also, they are out here at Wellspan Park. Yes, if you go to Wellspan Park right now, when the Rebs are in town, you can eat at Pappy's Q. Go inside the gate and turn left. First eating place you come to on the left. And I'll tell you what, when you go to Pappy's Q, especially the one down there at 35 North Main Street in Jacobus, right across from Smith Village, right there, that little shopette, you can have all-you-can-eat specials. Oh, yeah. They got an all-you-can-eat, by the way, for $59. Check this out. Brisket ribs, steamed shrimp, fried shrimp, barbecue chicken, French fries, hush puppies, snow crab legs, and all you can eat. $59. Yeah, ALCE. Thank you very much. They've also got great sandwiches down there, platters, appetizers, wings. They have an all-you-can-eat wings night down there as well, all-you-can-eat shrimp night. They do their shrimp with a batter made out of funnel cake dough, and it's incredible. I've got a friend who went down there over 6 days, went down there 5 days and had these funnel cake shrimp, which is unbelievable. But they've got just wonderful dishes down there, soups included, you name it. It's all right there at Pappy's Q. Call them today at 717-347-7062. You can find them on Facebook at Pappy's Q. Barbecue and seafood, and the combinations are endless. Todd and Amy Howdy's show are ready to welcome you down there to Pappy's Q. Proud sponsors of the last hour of the Gary Sutton Show. The sponsor of this hour, Regents Glen Country Club, where I am a member, have been there since 2001. My wife and I were actually married there. And when it comes to great golf, they just had an AJGA tournament there, Mark, this week. The best players from all over the world coming in there, young players playing there. That's how good the course is. The Arthur Hills Design Country Club is fantastic. But they've got a great practice area there. They've got a short range. They've got bocce ball. They've got pickleball, tennis courts, a beautiful pool down there. You can actually get your dinner served to you at the pool. They got the fairway table for casual dining. They've got housing going up around there like crazy. They've got activities everywhere, a 19th hole that's beautiful, and they're getting ready to build a new clubhouse here fairly soon. Regents Glen Country Club is the most affordable country club in the area. We got people coming in by droves and all kinds of membership packages available. Now, all you have to do is call 717-747-1919. Ask for the general manager Lacey Whalen, and she, with a smile, will show you around the place and show you all the opportunities that are there, and it's very, very, very affordable. They have a program that will fit your pocketbook right now, a membership program, whether it's social member, swimming member, a dining member, an all-family member for golf and everything included. They've got it all for you right now at Regents Glen Country Club. Check them out at regentsglen.com or call 717-747-1919. Tell them Gary Sutton, a very proud member, sent you today. WOYK News Time is 8:09, and we welcome in this morning Jim McClure, our resident historian. Never to be Forgotten is the name of his book that he's written, 275 Years of History in York County. You can find it at Brown's Orchard, right there in Loganville, or you can find it at the York History Center right here at Pershing and Philadelphia Street. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Doing well, Gary. How are you?
I am doing really well. It feels like I haven't talked to you in a while, but, we've been in and out the last few weeks. I want to thank you, though, for an article that you wrote a little over, I think, a week ago. A lady named Nancy Donnelly passed away here in York County. She was a teacher for a long time at York school system, and she and my mother wrote a musical called Abigail, which was about the Articles of Confederation here in York. Now, people say, oh, my gosh, really? Yeah, but you wrote a very nice article and put both their pictures of the other week, and I wanted to thank you for that. It was a very kind thing for you to do.
Yeah, that was really a very great thing that they did. They wrote Abigail in connection with the 200th anniversary, and then it was performed again over the years, including in 2002, which would have been the 225th anniversary. And it wouldn't surprise me that by the end of this anniversary, the 250th, that it would be performed again.
Well, next year is the 250th anniversary of the Articles here in York, and I am hoping, hint, 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 that someplace like the Belmont or one of the theaters picks it up and does it again. It's my mother wrote the music, and Nancy did a great job of writing the script and the words. The two of them collaborated on that. They were both teachers at York High and enjoyed it. In fact, my niece, her name is Abigail, after the musical. And so I hope that people will pick it up again, because it's a good chance to see York and all the various people and the songs and so forth, a little different look at York's Articles of Confederation history. And it was a lot of fun. I even had a chance to be General Horatio Gates in it the one year, and for about 2 seconds, my acting career there was not long. But but again, I thank you for pointing that out last week for people who were not aware of Nancy Donnelly and she and her husband Hal Donnelly, just a great couple here, good friends of my parents, but just a good collaboration here in the area.
Yeah, you can understand kind of the memory of people. I put down on Facebook and on the Retro York Facebook group, which I moderate, and it was, you can tell by the engagement how many people weigh in and comment and so on as to what that person is. It's one indicator of what a person means to the community. And Nancy Donnelly, who died recently, was was well faded on there.
And just a great lady. Just a great lady. Well, you threw me about 15 different pitches this morning on possibilities today, but I'm going to let it up to you on where we want to go this morning, because you always have a great way of looking at the tapestry of our history here in York. What do you have for us this morning?
Yeah, there was a program that was printed, a souvenir program printed with the 250th for the official ceremony. It happened on July 4th, the York County's official ceremony. And Abby Gibb from the county had a partial list, and she said, could you add some to it? And maybe we can come up with a list for the program. And so we did. We worked. I came up with 20 stories. 11 of them went into the program. Abby's. Some of those stories are Abby's. And anyway, it's interesting that when you come up, just choose 20 random stories, or maybe not so random stories about York County's past, what you might come up with. And we can talk about a few here. But I would just say that the county's overall story is kind of the sum of 1,000 smaller stories.
Yes.
So we didn't have time for 1,000 smaller stories, but we got 20 of them here today.
One of the things I used to teach down at Susquehannock High School. And, a lot of people have heard the name, the Susquehannocks. They have a vague idea of this Native American group, but you wrote a little story about that from 1665 to 1680. Tell people about that.
Yeah, the Susquehannocks were a Native American group, and they really kind of ended here in around 1660 to 1685, before there was a flurry of European settlers. And they had two villages that were kind of on the hill above the Zimmerman Center, or the Zimmerman Heritage Center in Long Level. And one of them now, there's not a village there anymore, but you can see the landscape that they occupied on the hill behind the Zimmerman Center. It's a beautiful walk around there. They later assimilated into the overall population, or died from disease. And there are some folks today that would say that they are descendant of the Susquehannocks. In fact, the 2020 census, I think, showed that the Native American population in York County was actually up over the previous decade. So we've always had Native Americans in our midst. and we did in 1685, and we still do today.
And people can visit the Zimmerman Center for Heritage to see the Native American exhibits and walk along paths of the Native Lands County Park on the hillside above. I guess there were something like a dozen longhouses that were there to believe to be the Susquehannock's last stockaded settlement in the lower Susquehanna region that you mentioned there.
Yeah, we're blessed in York County and Lancaster County in being able to study Native Americans. The Zimmerman Center, as you mentioned, has a very nice exhibit there in the Zimmerman Center, and then you can walk on the hill above. And also, we know Indian Steps Museum is a great place to visit to get that Native American heritage. And then on the other side of the river, the Blue Rock Heritage Center in Washington Borough. And so we have three kind of centers for Native American studies within, easy driving distance.
So if you're wondering what to do during the summertime, these are some of the places you could probably visit. For example, we know that in 1749, York became an independent county separate from Lancaster, right? Talk about that, and we can go visit about that with the York County Courthouse, which is the replica right down here on West Market Street.
Yeah, we separate from Lancaster in 1749. Before that, if you were in Helm Township, your mailing address would be Helm Township, Lancaster County, PA.
Wow.
So we separated. We needed sheriff, police protection. We needed, court system. We needed. It was too far to go to Lancaster County, go across the river, go to Lancaster County. So we separated in 1749. And interestingly, Adams County separated from York County in 1800 for the same reason. And then shortly after we separated in 1749, we needed a courthouse. We needed a place for the judge and sheriff and all. And so that courthouse went up in the center of Continental Square, what we call Continental Square today. It went up right in the center of it. And that was unfortunately knocked down in 1841. But there's a replica that went up 50 years ago in 1976. And that's the replica we enjoy today as part of the York County History Center's Colonial Complex.
And importantly, it's also the replica of what the Continental Congress met in 1777 to 1778 when they were in town for 9 months writing the Articles of Confederation, right?
Yeah, that was where they met. The courthouse was not being used at least as much as the one in Lancaster County. They stopped in Lancaster County for a day. It was too busy there, too many people in town. They wanted the river. This is the Continental Congress, which is fleeing Philadelphia.
Right.
They wanted the river between them and the British, so they came here to a courthouse that was available to them, and they met here in that courthouse for 9 months. And yeah, they adopted America's first Constitution, the Articles of Confederation there, and did a lot of other very important things. Ratified treaties with France in May 1778. So that brought France support as an ally. So we're blessed in York County here because we have a 2-year America 250 anniversary. We are next year, as you mentioned earlier, we're going to be, exploring and explaining and talking about the Articles of Confederation, which were adopted, as I said, 250 years ago on November 15th. 1777.
And by the way, you can visit the West Market Street's Colonial Courthouse, operated by the York County History Center, as a replica of the York County Courthouse. I've been in there. I've been on the tour. It's really, really neat. We're going to take a break. Can you stick with us for an extra segment this morning, Jim?
Absolutely.
We're going to come back. I want to talk about some of the other things. For example, the Warrington Friends Meeting House in northwestern New York County. Have you ever been there? What's that all about? We're going to find out. And obviously also the Golden Plow Tavern, the Gates House, places that you could actually go to here in York County during these summer months, any time of the year, but these summer months, especially right now, you say, what should we do? Where can we take the kids? Where have we not been? Well, Jim McClure is helping you out this morning with all that. He is a York County historian, from as far as I'm concerned, the York County historian. We have him right here on WOYK. Back with more right after this.
As runner goes and Ross swings and he hits one in the air in left center. This is hit pretty well. Back nearing the fence, Zane Washington leaps and he can't get it. Out of here, Jackson Ross with a 2-run homer. And the Revs with their 4th home run of the inning lead it 10-2 here in the 6th. 0-1 on Ray, who's 1 for 4 tonight. And he swings, drives one out to center. It sends Zane Washington back. He stops, he looks, and it goes! Home run, Brian Ray to the right of the batter's eye. And he gets into this power display tonight, his 13th. And the Revs, with their 6th home run of the night, now lead it 12-2 here in the 7th.
6 home runs. They took out their frustrations of losing the 2 nights prior in Lexington, where they lost their first and second games of the second half. But get their 4th win, knock out Lexington for the first time in the second half. Lexington 5-1. They're the leaders in the North Division or in the South Division, and the Revs tri-leaders in the North Division, where they are tied right now with Long Island and also Hagerstown, 4-2 records. They play again tonight, 7 p.m. They will be getting the first pitch done here actually 7 p.m. was when they get started tonight here on WOYK. So tune in tonight, 989 WOYK. If you want to listen in there or listen on the web at 98.9 FM, 1350 AM, WOYK. Back with Jim McClure, who is a historian, author of Never to Be Forgotten. And Jim, Warrington Meeting House, not a lot of people are all familiar with that, is one of a band of Quaker houses of worship that operated for decades north of the Conewaga Creek. I know we've got one right down here next to the Conewaga Creek, right in the center of York. But congregants can still worship in this stone meeting house, and several Revolutionary War veterans rest in its cemetery, right?
Yeah, there's a band of 5 meeting houses from Newburytown all the way to Biglerville. And we also have a meeting house in Pond Grove. So we had in York County before, over the years, about 7 meeting houses. The most active, the one in York is still active every Sunday. The one in Warrington, they have an interesting cemetery to visit, and interestingly, that cemetery has Revolutionary War soldiers buried in there. So you have to think, the Quakers were pacifists in many ways. They didn't like for their people to serve in combat, and yet there are some combat veterans who are in that cemetery, and it just points to the fact that our congregations in the American Revolution would have had a lot of struggles. What if someone's son wants to serve? Well, they can't. Well, I'm going to.
Right.
That you can just imagine the struggle that wartime brings. And we like to think about the glory of war, meaning that what can be accomplished in war, like our freedoms. And that's a lot. But what does it take to get there?
Right.
Where you have family against family or family members against family trying to decide, whether their sons should serve in military or not.
You can visit the grounds of this old meeting house outside Wellsville and stroll through the nearby cemetery. It occurred to me, Jim, that if you wanted to put together a thing for your family and do a little historical circumference of York County, it might be a really interesting day or a couple of days. For example, we know that York served as the capital of the United States for 9 months in 1777, 78, after British troops forced the Continental Congress to head west, which you chronicled earlier, stopping in Lancaster for a day, and then wanting to put the river as a buffer between them and the British Army. And, of course, the York County History Center's colonial complex includes not only the reconstructed courthouse that we talked about before, but also the Golden Plow Tavern and Gates House, both standing at the time of the Continental Congress visit, right?
Yeah, and there's 2 additions to that, what you just mentioned. If you want to understand the American Revolution in York County, there's a new exhibit, an outdoors exhibit called Hard Bargains, which is right, across from the new York County History Center Museum at 121 North Pershing Avenue. And it's an outdoor exhibit, so you can go and see at any time. You can go and see this explanation of the Artisan Federation. Then inside the History Center, there's a brand new exhibit that just opened in the last 2 weeks called Revolutionary York, and that really walks you through York County and the American Revolution. So we keep building on our assets to be able to teach and learn about our great role in the American Revolution.
And one of the things that is interesting, we're sitting right here between two signers of the Declaration of Independence. I've mentioned it before. Philip Livingston of New York, who's buried right up the hill here on Prospect Hill Cemetery. And then over here at First Presbyterian Church on East Market Street, we got James Smith. Now, think about, we have, 56 people that signed that declaration. We got two of them within a mile of each other, buried right here in New York. Philip Livingston's, of course, is rather interesting because he was from New York, but he died here in office in 1778, was actually given a state funeral, right?
Yeah, Philip Livingston is a good example of the sacrifice, and sometimes we today we kind of make fun of the founding fathers or point to their flaws, and they were flawed as we all are. But he was flawed like the rest of us. But he was sick up in New York, and he went and he told his family goodbye. I'm going to go down there anyway, and he came here. He got sicker and sicker and died in office. On his bed, but as a member of Congress, and was given a state funeral. So here he was, away from his family, away from his friends, kind of in the middle of nowhere here in York County. We were a small German village in those days, and but yet he came here anyway, and he wanted to participate in Continental Congress, and he died in office here. And then James Smith, we know more about him because, he was a York County attorney who signed the Declaration of Independence. Altogether, in that 9-month period, when they adopted the Articles of Confederation, we had 26 signers of the Declaration of Independence here.
Yeah, it's amazing when you think about that. And finally, camp security out in Springsbury Township has become kind of new, recognized as a British prisoner of war camp during the Revolutionary War. But we're finding out more and more about that. And its location has been determined through a series of public-aided archaeological digs that have been chronicled through the paper and so forth. And you can visit Camp Security Park and actually see the bronze semi-quincentennial bell, which was dedicated in 2025 in remembrance of this historic site, right?
Yeah, only a handful of counties received one of those bells, those bronze bells, and York County was one of them. And it's proximate to it's downhill from the location of the Camp Security. Camp Security the location wasn't known for years and years. And then just in the last 3 or 4 years, we've, archaeological digs have found it. They actually found post holes where the stockade, the logs that made up the stockade,
wow,
where they sat. And in June, there's a couple of public open houses for that site. I'm sure they'll have more open houses coming up. But yeah, there was, by some estimates, as many as 2,000 British POWs. Nowadays there's more discussion about 1,000 to 1,500 who were there, British POWs who were stockaded or they lived in a village outside of the camp. And so that's one of we're going to be celebrating the 250th of that coming up in 2031.
And by the way, if you're taking a walking tour of York, you want to do that one day, maybe you stop by the Central Market or you do some of those things. William C. Goodrich gained his freedom from slavery. He started a successful business career here in York County in the 1820s that lasted all the way through the Civil War. And in fact, his home served as a stop on the Underground Railroad. And you can see a sculpture of Goodrich right outside his former home at 123 East Philadelphia Street here in York. We closed with him today, right?
Yeah, it was the Goodrich Freedom Center was and is a house museum. I think it's closed right now for some repairs, but you can still go there, and there's a sculpture by a Gettysburg sculptor by the name of Gary Castile of Goodrich outside the house, and it's made that you can sit on the bench. There's a bench you can sit there,
take a
get your picture taken with Goodrich, or you can talk with him, and so it's become a popular place to kind of get your picture taken, as a backdrop or as a side drop with him as you talk with him. So yeah, you could put together a day easily of just stopping in sites around York County with the kind of the epicenter of all that at the York County History Center Museum, 121 North Pershing Avenue.
And maybe what we could do next week is go through and hit some more parts of the county here that we can make a day of in terms of, it's summertime. What the heck? Get out there and realize all the things that we have right here in this area. I think a lot of them we don't know sometimes, and it's good to remember, right, Jim?
Let's do that. Yeah, that would be a great time. Maybe we can pick as many sites as we have time
Absolutely.
to talk about them.
I love it. I love it. And just great. Don't forget to check out Never to Be Forgotten, the book that Jim has written. 275 years of history here in York County. I love it. We are in such a rich history area right here. And Jim did a great job of chronicling all that for 275 years. You can find right now at Brown's Orchards or at the York History Center. Where are you going to be appearing at, Jim? You're always around doing some discussions somewhere, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Lifelong Learning Institute at York College at 1 p.m. on July 23rd. We're going to talk about commonalities between the American Revolution and the Civil War.
I love it.
You can still sign up for that class, and it's interesting to compare and contrast those two wars.
Is that the OLLI the program that they have up there at Penn State York?
Yeah, there's two. There's OLLI at Penn State York, but this is a new one that's at York College called Lifelong Learning Initiative at York College.
Lifelong Learning Initiative.
Yes, at York College. So you can go there, and it's really, they have a full slate of programs. They have other types of activities there, and they also have ways that seniors can meet, senior citizens, people over 50, can meet with students. So they're integrating students with some of the, with some of us who are maybe a little bit north of 50.
Yeah, you and I just kind of get over 50, right? I mean, we're just barely, we're finally qualified, right? Just after 50 years of age.
Yeah, we just kind of over by a nose. Yeah.
Hey, lots of fun. I appreciate it, my friend. Great job this morning. Really, so many things to be happy about, proud about, and take tours of. And remember, here in York County, we are in such a rich historical place. Thank you for chronicling that this morning. Really appreciate it.
And thanks, Gary. Talk to you next week.
Take care. When we come back, Dennis Owens, ABC 27 News, has been on vacation. We're going to get with him and look back on the week in history here, not just history, but in politics, rather, in the area. And do we have a budget yet? How close are we? We keep on talking about that. I hope it's not like November like last year. Dennis Owens up next. This hour being brought to you by Regis Glen Country Club. Check them out at regisglen.com or give a call to 717-747-1919. Ask for Lacey. And a tour of Regis Glen to see one of the very many membership programs they have for you that are all very affordable out at Regis Glen right here off Indian Rock Dam Road and the 1000 Golf Club Road right here in York. We'll be back with more right after this. Maybe my favorite group of all time, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, ready? Here we go. Funkiest group around ever. Yeah, EWNF. The elements of the universe. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, there you go. And what better way to lead into Dennis Owens, who's been on vacation for these last several weeks. And we get my friend back in this morning, ABC 27 News host of This Week in Pennsylvania, 10 o'clock every Sunday morning. Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Earth, Wind, and Fire, Greatest Hits Volume 2, one of the greatest albums of all time. And do you remember one of my favorite songs? And, of course, I feel like every time I'm with you, we're always talking about, do you remember this? And
I know, but don't feel bad about that.
When you get to be our age.
But we have memories. That's the great part. We do have some memories of some great music that, by the way, people will not let go of. EWNF, Chicago, those kinds of groups. They're still kind of running around here. And then we got these tribute groups out there like Leonid and Friends, who are memorializing the songs of Earth, Wind, and Fire, Chicago, places like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad about that at all. A lot of people are still getting out there that love that kind of music.
Hey, Paul Simon played Philadelphia last week.
There you go. And
I love him, too.
How old is he now? He's like 80 now or something, isn't he? Or a little, yeah. Anyway, great to have you back. How was your vacation?
It was outstanding. The boring version is I went to visit family.
Okay.
But the exciting version is I have family in Southern California and Hawaii. So.
Well, that was tough. Yeah, taking one for the team, huh? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, I'll tell you this. So I'm the Wiley Capital reporter, knowing that a budget wouldn't be done on time.
Yes.
So to be back, right before it's due is what I did. And it looks like we do have a budget. The white smoke is about to come out of the Capitol, which is a scaled-down version of the Vatican.
Oh, so you got like the inside scoop here for us this way. I like that.
I do indeed. The lawmakers are coming in for the weekend.
Okay.
And they've been called in for the weekend, and my sources say, now, keep in mind when we're talking about a budget,
right.
If it's not a done deal, it's not a done deal.
Right.
And until it's signed, it's not a done deal. But they seem to be on target for a Sunday state budget signing.
We were talking with Dawn Kiefer the other day, and she gave us the same kind of news. She said, we're on the verge. We're on the verge of getting this thing done. So can you...
And I don't think Dawn's voting for it either way, because if the current budget were flat funded, in her view and many people's view, that still spends too much.
Well,
and it's going to spend more.
Yeah, and she said, the governor wants to spend $53 million, and you've hit this on the head the last couple years. Billion. I didn't mean to say million. Billion. How could I what's a couple billion among friends? But and she said we're bringing in like $48 or so billion in, so that's a loss of. And so she is, that she's always been one who said, if you're spending more than what you're bringing in, I don't know if I can vote for that. But what can you give us any idea what you're hearing is going to be in this thing?
Well, no, I don't. Now that and this is where I had been on vacation, and then I've been working on some other TV projects.
Right.
So I'm not under the hood on it yet. But look, I can tell you, the current budget is just over $50 billion. The governor wants $53 billion. So the final number is going to be somewhere between there, 52 and change, probably.
Yeah. Last year, you predicted 50. It was 50. And so you don't have to be like Nostradamus here to figure this one out. I mean,
nor do you need to be really good at math. It's just what's in the middle between the two numbers, right?
Go about halfway, and you probably got it. But it's that's kind of where we are at in present day political reality, I suppose. Yeah.
Right, and I do think. Because I think since the last time we spoke, there's been a Supreme Court ruling on skill games. They did indeed rule that they are gambling devices.
Yes,
I don't know what took 6 years for courts to get to that. If you put a $5 bill in, hoping to get a $10 bill out, it's gambling. I don't care what your other definitions are. They did Gumby-like contortions to try to get it so that it's not a gambling device. Of course, it's a gambling device and should be regulated and taxed as such.
Right. What do you make of the governor's race so far? Do you see anything coming out of this that's news to us out there?
Well, I mean, Stacey Garrity is trying, obviously trying to find where is there a weakness in Josh Shapiro.
Right.
I think actually, I think there was a political misstep a couple of weeks ago when they had the Great American State Fair on the Mall in Washington, D.C., and the governor's like, yeah, we're not going to participate. It was too late to the party, and we couldn't find sponsors.
And then our two senators collaborated on that, didn't they?
Exactly. Within a day and a half, John Fetterman and Dave McCormick, and let's not, the Pennsylvania Chamber and other trade groups, they came up with the necessary sponsors and what needed to happen. And they're like, yeah, well, Pennsylvania. And by the way, let me just say, of all the states are celebrating America 250.
Right.
But nobody has a bigger chapter. No state has a bigger chapter in that book than Pennsylvania.
You're right.
We're the most important state in the founding of this country and all the things that happened here.
Right. Obviously, Philadelphia and the Independence Hall and all that.
But, the Declaration of Independence.
Thank you.
The Constitution, Constitutional Congress, the whole concept that we're going to govern ourselves.
Right.
Was created in Philadelphia. Then, the Revolutionary War turned at Valley Forge. The Civil War turned to Gettysburg.
We wrote the Articles of Confederation right here in York.
Articles of Confederation right there in York. I was there yesterday, actually. We're doing this little story on the history of York, which is pretty cool.
Celebrating the 250th anniversary of that this upcoming year, so yeah.
Well, that's correct, too. And there's a great new exhibit at the York Historical Building right down there. That we looked at yesterday. That was one of the projects I've been on.
Yeah, okay.
But the point is, in my opinion, the greatest American ever is Benjamin Franklin.
Thank you.
And all the things that he did, all the firsts that he did and invented, and it's just amazing. But anyway, my point is, Pennsylvania is significant in the founding of this country, and it's just a bad look when somebody says, well, we couldn't really find the sponsors, and, first of all, Josh Shapiro is the most prolific fundraiser, arguably, in the history of Pennsylvania, and he can find sponsors for things he wants to find sponsors for.
Right.
So it looks like he doesn't want to play in Donald Trump's sandbox. The problem is, the problem with that is this is about America. It should be bigger than that. It should be apolitical. We all should be celebrating America 250.
Now, this Great American Fair, has it been a bust so far? I don't know if it's really gained momentum. I'm not sure the kind of crowds that have been coming to this thing. I've read different things on it. What's your take on it?
Well, I've read the same things you have, is that it hasn't attracted the great crowds, which is a shame because the minute you politicize something, again, that shouldn't be politicized.
Right. I agree with you.
But we're in a world now, Gary, where everything's politicized, and that's unfortunate.
No, you're right, and we see it everywhere, and politics walks through the door with you on everywhere you go, and you don't necessarily want it to be arm in arm with you, and I think that's a great point. So yeah, to be continued on that, my friend. Hey, what do you have coming up this weekend on this week in Pennsylvania?
Well, I have the aforementioned Dawn Kiefer. She's going to be on with me to talk about her property tax elimination plan.
Yeah.
So my thought on that always was you would have to raise taxes so much in other areas that it just is untenable. But she's going to try to convince me otherwise. So I'm looking forward to that because she's very passionate about it.
She is.
And
what's your take on Dawn? What's your take on Dawn Kiefer? Do you have a feeling one way or the other? I mean, she's very outspoken on things and very plain spoken, I might add. Kind of a common sense person.
I agree with both things you just said. I think she's clearly she's conservative for sure, but I think she's common sense conservative in her view, and I think she's very forceful on what she wants to do. How well she's getting along in the Senate, because the Senate is a different animal than the House.
Yeah.
Where the cats in the House are perhaps more encouraged to just speak their mind and be their independent thing, and I think in the Senate it's a little more staid and a little more. Here's the way we do things in the Senate, so I don't know how that's working out. But I think she's, she represents her district, and that's what people are supposed to do.
There you go. Always good talking to you. Welcome back from vacation, my friend. Good to have you back here. A little envious of Hawaii and Southern California, but I can be that. I
got some great pictures.
Okay. Are you going to send me any of them?
I will.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I do want to see them. Right. I'm always interested. And then we have to get together for a round of golf soon because we haven't done that for like a year.
Exactly. I would like to do that.
I appreciate it. I'll talk to you, my friend. Have a great week on This Week in Pennsylvania, 10 o'clock. Dawn Kiefer this Sunday morning. Check it out. And we'll have Dennis back next Friday in his regular spot. Thank you, Dennis.
See you later, guys.
Take care. Talk care? Take care. Yes. I do want to remind you that coming up tomorrow at 838 West College Avenue here in York at 10 a.m. in the morning, they have a real estate auction for Thomasville Country Auction. You know, I tell you all the time about how Cheryl Hooks can sell your real estate, save you lots of money. Yeah, they're doing that tomorrow morning. It's an 1880 semi-detached home. An 1880 semi-detached home, Mark, speaking about the old stuff. 5 bedrooms, 1 bath. Large eating kitchen, dining room, living room, basement, back deck, shed, front porch, 1,804 square feet. They're doing that tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. And don't forget, when you want to have a sale, Jack and Cheryl Hooks at Thomasville Country Auction are the ones to call at 717-764-5403. Or if you want to find out about this real estate sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., call Cheryl today at 717-764-5403. They'll come out to your home, talk about all this, and get you all set. Jack and Cheryl Hooks are ready to make your sales a reality at Thomasville Country Auction. And tomorrow at 10 a.m., they're out there at 838 West College Avenue right here in York. Check it out tomorrow, 10 a.m., or go to their sale on Monday at 4 p.m. at Thomasville Country Auction. Route 30 West at the railroad tracks in Thomasville. WOYK News Times 849. John. Love that. By the way, your summer road trip. A lot of us are taking summer road trips. That's what summer's all about, right? Taking road trips. We talked about some of that this morning. And it starts with tires. I mean, the weather is hot, the open road's calling, but tires take the biggest beating on summer highways. So if your ride feels just a little bit shaky, pulls to one side, or the tread looks worn, get it checked before you head on out. And that means stop by Jack Giambalvo family of dealerships and make sure your tires are road trip worthy. Because, Jack Giambalvo wants to be your perfect road trip companion this summer, and they do that all the time. They have SUVs for your family right now. They got trucks for adventure. They got sedans for the daily drive. I mean, wherever the road takes you, you've got the vehicle to get you there. And one of the great things about Jack Giambalvo that I love, they're hassle-free, they're pressure-free. They have that kind of approach. And here in York County, that's what we want, isn't it? It's easy to find the car you want right now, Jack Giambalvo, without having to have pressure and, people being on your back the whole time. And, one of the other things they do at Jack Giambalvo right now, they have free lifetime PA state inspections when you buy pre-owned at Giambalvo. Yeah, for you and anybody in your household. That's the great part about it. They've got 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty included on most pre-owned vehicles. And, Jack Giambalvo has been famous for a long time, knowing what York County wants, and their vehicles go through a rigorous inspection to ensure they're roadworthy before they ever see the light of day with you. 50-plus years of establishing trust, quality cars, reliable service. That's what Jack Giambalvo started to do, and John Giambalvo continues doing right now here in York County. It's the Giambalvo pre-owned difference. It's quality. It's hassle-free. It's making sure you're safe. It's making sure they've got the right kind of vehicle for somewhere in your plethora of what you want to do. Jack Giambalvo's been doing that for 50-plus years. They got F-150s, they got Fords, they got 2026 or older models. They got four-wheel drive, they got gasoline, they got XLT, they got under 60,000 miles, they got 40,000 and below, heated seats, they've got Explorers, they've got it all. Why don't you check out today what they have by going to GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com. That's GiambalvoPreOwnedInventory.com, and you will see an array of vehicles like nowhere else here in York County and where they have them at one of their 6 great locations. Jack Giambalvo, family of dealerships, ready to make your ride a reality today and ready to be your summer road trip companion. Mark?
So when I saw this story, I thought, You're kidding, right? Yeah. I mean, this is one of the least. It's a study, and it's a medical study, health study, but its results are one of the least surprising. See if you agree.
NFL players are 4 times more likely to die from neurodegenerative diseases like dementia and Parkinson's. That's according to a new study published Wednesday by Mass General Brigham, Boston University, and the Concussion and CTE Foundation. Researchers studied nearly 2,000 former players who have since passed away, and they say those who died before the age of 60 had 12-fold higher rates of neurodegenerative death than the general population. They also say those with skill positions like receiver or running back died at nearly 2 times the rate of an offensive or defensive lineman. But still, NFL players are generally healthier than a normal person and are less likely to die from other diseases like cancer or cardiovascular disease. Tony Genualdo, Fox News.
So that's really weird, too. The fact that they're healthier, but if you're going to die, you're going to die way faster because of getting hit.
I am not surprised by that, but it's a sad number.
Yes.
It really is a sad number, and sorry to hear that. But you see a lot of these people from getting hit over and over and over again. I mean, you look at a guy, and it wasn't football, but Muhammad Ali with Parkinson's at the end of his life and what that all did to him in boxing.
Yeah.
But football is a collision sport. People say it's a contact sport. No, it's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. Dancing's a contact sport. This is a collision sport,
right?
Where people are getting hit on a regular basis.
One more quickie.
There you go.
Tech news. There's a new Chat GPT coming out.
GPT 5.6 is the latest model for OpenAI's signature artificial intelligence. The Trump administration pushed OpenAI not to immediately release it to the world, citing security concerns. The company agreed to let the U.S. government have exclusive use of the model for 2 weeks. So what's 5.6 do? OpenAI says it can take information from your most used apps and create a slew of finished products on your behalf, such as documents, spreadsheets, and presentations, even web apps. It also connects to Google's productivity suite and even office tools like Slack. Eben Brown, Fox News.
And it's a dessert topping, too. No, not that. But that can do a lot of stuff. By the way, I do want to thank you, Regents Glen Country Club, for sponsoring this hour. Regents Glen, where they have a membership for you, something that is affordable right now. It's the most affordable place in terms of country clubs here in the county. And believe me, you never thought you could afford a country club? Well, you can. Regents Glen is known for its wonderful Arthur Hills Golf Club, known for its pool memberships right now, but also for bocce ball, for pickleball, for tennis. They've got things going on all the time. They're building like crazy out there at the moment, so you can even live on the country club as well. And you can find out all about it by going to regentsglen.com or give a call to 717-747-1919. Ask for Lacey. She'll give you a tour and tell you all about the programs we have. Don't forget, tonight, 7 o'clock, baseball. The Rebs are in Lexington, Kentucky, where they are trying to continue staying in first place and knocking Lexington down. They'll do that tonight. Have a great weekend, everyone. Be safe out there. Thanks to Mark. Thanks to you. It's 9 o'clock.